When I'm with a startup, I know that my dimensions can be broadened immensely, and I mean it's pretty exhaustive and comprehensive. So today, I mean, I know that if I have to promote Flock, I will be there at the event. I will know, I'll be at ground level. If I have to do a marketing campaign, I will be personally involved in that marketing campaign as well. If there are multiple product requirements or customizations which is required by a client, I know that I can approach the product. I can understand from them what is doable, what is not doable. So that kind of closeness with multiple different departments is something which you might not be able to get at a multinational company. When you're directly having a conversation about these things with the CEOs, with the CTO of your own company, that actually broadens your dimensions, that actually makes you learn so much more, and actually brings that kind of an enthusiasm. So every day I look forward to what's going to happen today. Again, the good part is that it's not a wobbly brand. It's today we know that it's an idea which has come from a company which has been there for over 19 to 20 years. So we know the soundness of the idea. I know that this idea is a wonderful idea which is going to do wonders in the particular market, right? It's got the brains of someone who has launched over 12 to 13 companies which have been all successful. So that is the kind of trust and enthusiasm and belief that has helped me make that change from LinkedIn to a startup. If you say sales, yeah, money does play a very important part, because sales is all about incentives. How are you going to be incentivized, so on and so forth. But after you've maybe worked for 7-8 years in the industry, there's also something like satisfaction and self-actualization, so maybe it also circles around what you bring to the table. But apart from maybe that being 40 to 50% responsible for my enthusiasm and my confidence, it's also the spark that of a startup which actually helps you apart from the money, right? So it maybe helps me that, okay, I'm learning so much here. Maybe in my next time, let's say if I want to start up something, if this is actually going to help me, this is golden. This information is golden for me right now. So luckily, having a CA as a father, and secondly someone who always believes in the right kind of investments and the long-term investments, has always been very influential for me on that particular front. So that has been ingrained to us from a very small age. Definitely settling down is something which I want to do, is something which is on the cards. As I would say, maybe I'm a little delayed as compared to what your normal life cycle would be, of maybe settling down around 30, so on and so forth. So of course, that has not stopped me from investing or having that kind of backing ready for the D-Day, as you call it, or post that, maybe having children, so on and so forth. So I've always been prepared for that. I've always consistently started investing right from day one of when I've started working. And that, of course, has been quite influential, again, by my father and by my investment advisor, who also advises my father as well. It's quite a difficult process, and it's quite harrowing as well, because normally there are multiple things which actually go into selecting a loan. So can you pay back in between, or you cannot? Is it a variable interest rate? Is it a fixed interest rate? So on and so forth. What are the market conditions of the loan at the time you're taking the loan, so on and so forth. What is the kind of support you're going to get from the particular person, I mean from the institute which you're taking the loan from. What is the credit period which you're going to take when a particular EMI is due, or maybe you can pay or can't pay, so on. So multiple things which actually go into deciding a loan. So the decision which I took was, of course, from my own bank. I took the loan based on, of course, the relationship that we've shared for a very long period of time, and of course on the interest also that they provided was quite low as compared to, so we negotiated with them that if you all can give it at this particular interest rate to start off with, is something which we can consider. And of course the legalities involved were quite less, because they already knew us, so the time in getting the loan was also much faster. So medical insurance is taken care of by the company. But again, apart from that, I have my own medical insurance as well. So we have it actually even before we had started working. So from quite a young age, my father was always quite uniform and quite consistent in all these systematic things. So we always had a medical insurance for everyone in the family, like a family plan, so on and so forth. So I had an accident around 8 to 9 years ago. It was quite a horrific one. So luckily that medical insurance did come to the rescue at that point in time to provide the dues, because it was of course, a very huge bill of I had a bike accident, and so to foot that particular bill, I think we got claimed for nearly 100% of that entire expenses, and that's why that has been one of the factors for us to continue with that particular plan. Because see, tomorrow, if I leave the company, of course, the medical plan goes with out the window with that, right? So this will stay along if I'm working, not working, irrespective. I have all my investments in place, and in each of my investments, the second holder is either my mother or my father. Any which way, all my investments are for them only predominantly right now, because as of now, immediately don't have an immediate family to support of my wife or children, so on and so forth. So right now, it's all for them. I would slowly start going into 70-30, wherein I would still have 70% for my parents and then start 30% planning for my wife, and then slowly, as the children come, that ratio will keep on going up to 50-50. So my biggest ambitions would be to be recognized as someone in the corporate world as somebody who solves problems. So whatever work I'm doing, I would want it to have a higher meaning. So maybe let's take an example that I've always been interested in more in the environment, so on and so forth. I mean, of course, we always want to make money as well, right? So it could be maybe something around making solar cells, for example, or making a software which would actually solve certain problems for the environment, or maybe bring down traffic levels exponentially, which would eventually help in pollution control, so on and so forth, or working with the software companies which would be helping solve these particular problems. So this would actually be something, and this would actually be a self-actualization moment for me, that okay, I'm part of a project which is actually helping something which is for the larger good. So that is something which is actually what I want to be eventually in. Never. I would not do that, because I see my father again as my example. He's 70 plus and he still works, and even though, I mean, he can easily retire, he doesn't want to. So that's what keeps him active. When I see him, or when everyone sees him, he still looks like he's 50 at this age, right? So I'm absolutely surprised that it's actually the work which keeps him going. It's an active mind which keeps you going. So the day you retire is actually I would say the day you start aging.